this reading found you today, I feel very strongly that something is trying to get your attention emotionally, because the energy here feels like a message, an opportunity, or a realization that has the power to shift your perspective in a major way. And honestly, I think many of you have already been sensing it. With the Page of Cups sitting on the bottom of the deck, this reading carries a very intuitive and emotionally open energy. This feels like surprise, unexpected emotional news, a message, a soft opening, a moment of vulnerability, an intuitive nudge that feels impossible to ignore. The Page of Cups always reminds me that life has a way of delivering emotional clarity in unexpected forms. And Spirit keeps showing me that something may be arriving soon that feels gentle on the surface, but carries much deeper significance underneath. The first card out is the Knight of Cups. And immediately, this tells me emotional movement is happening. This card often represents an offer, an invitation, a message, emotional expression, or something entering your life that stirs your heart. For some of you, yes, this could absolutely involve romance or someone opening up emotionally. But honestly, the energy feels broader than that. This feels like emotional alignment approaching, something that feels meaningful, something that carries intention, something that asks you to feel rather than overthink. And I think that matters because many of you have been spending a lot of time in your head lately, trying to logic your way through situations that require intuition instead. The Knight of Cups says, allow yourself to receive what your heart already recognizes. Then we move into the Ace of Pentacles. And this is beautiful because it tells me whatever emotional opening is arriving here has real potential. This is not fleeting energy. This is grounded opportunity, a new beginning that can actually be built upon. This could absolutely connect to career, finances, a practical offer, a new project, stability, or something tangible entering your life. But paired with the Knight of Cups, this feels like an opportunity that carries both emotional resonance and long-term substance. That's powerful. Because Spirit keeps showing me that many of you have outgrown surface-level opportunities. You're no longer looking for things that simply feel exciting for a moment. You want what's real, what's sustainable, what's aligned. And this ace feels exactly like that. Then we move into Judgment. And honestly, this is where the reading becomes deeply transformational. Because Judgment is awakening, revelation, truth, clarity, a calling to rise into a higher version of yourself. This card feels like a moment where something suddenly becomes undeniable, a realization clicks, a truth becomes impossible to avoid, a deeper understanding emerges. And I think for many of you, this is less about something outside of you and more about your relationship with yourself. This feels like spiritual self-recognition, finally seeing yourself clearly, finally understanding why certain things had to fall apart, finally realizing that everything you've moved through has been preparing you for this next chapter. Judgment always asks, will you answer the call? Because clarity often comes with responsibility. Once you know the truth, you cannot unknow it. Then we move into the Hanged Man. And this card feels very intentional here, because after awakening comes pause, reflection, integration. And honestly, I think Spirit is showing that some of you may need time to fully process what is becoming clear. This is not rushed energy. The Hanged Man asks for surrender. It asks you to stop forcing answers and allow perspective to shift naturally. And I need to say this clearly. If things have felt delayed lately, it may not be because you're blocked. It may be because your perspective is still changing. That message feels important. Sometimes life slows us down because there is something we need to fully see before moving forward. And I think many of you are right in that space now. A spiritual pause before acceleration. Because then we move into the Eight of Wands. And this is where everything speeds up. Momentum, communication, fast movement, things unfolding quickly after a period of stillness. And honestly, I love this progression because it shows that the pause you've been experiencing is not permanent. It's preparation. What feels slow now may suddenly move very quickly once clarity arrives. For some of you, this could be communication you've been waiting on, an opportunity becoming official, a decision finally being made, a breakthrough. And for others, this is internal momentum, that moment where everything suddenly clicks and you know exactly what your next move needs to be. Underneath all of this is the Page of Cups. And this tells me the energy of this next chapter is emotionally softer, more open, more intuitive, more hopeful. And honestly, I think that's beautiful because many of you have spent a long time navigating heavy, serious, or emotionally draining cycles. This feels different. This feels like possibility returning, like your spirit becoming curious again, like your heart beginning to trust again. And spirit keeps repeating this message very clearly. Do not dismiss what arrives softly. That feels huge because some of you may be expecting major change to arrive dramatically, loudly, with obvious certainty. But this reading feels like something meaningful approaching quietly, a subtle message, a small opportunity, a gentle, intuitive pull. And if you're paying attention, you'll recognize just how significant it really is. The Knight of Cups says, open your heart. The Ace of Pentacles says, recognize real potential. Judgment says, answer the call. The Hanged Man says, trust the pause. The Eight of Wands says, movement is coming. And the Page of Cups reminds you to stay emotionally open enough to receive it. This reading genuinely feels like the beginning of something, not because everything suddenly becomes clear overnight, but because your soul is waking up to what it's truly ready for. So if this reading resonated, take what connected and leave what didn't. But this feels like a powerful transition between reflection and movement. Something meaningful is trying to reach you. And once it arrives, I think you'll understand exactly why everything had to unfold the way it did.